Today we're checking out one of the most delayed and most anticipated projects on the Strip, Fontainebleau Las Vegas. It took over 20 years, multiple bankruptcies, a name change, and a full circle comeback by the original developer to get here. But now it's open with 3,600 rooms, Miami vibes, and enough marble to build a Roman temple. In this video, we'll speed run through the history, look at one of the rooms, amenities on property, and some of the restaurants. We'll also do a bonus section on the new Sphere, since the reason for our visit was to see the Backstreet Boys. Big favor before we dive in is to give this a thumbs up to help with the algorithm. If you're new and want to travel smarter, consider subscribing. This hotel has one of the craziest origin stories. Back in 2005, the Miami-based Fontainebleau Resorts Group bought the land and broke ground on the project. It was mostly going well and was actually 70% complete by mid-2009. The Great Recession had other ideas though, and lenders pulled out of the project. This led to them declaring Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Vegas is a city where fortunes are made, and that's no different for billionaires. Carl Icahn bought the remains of the project for $156 million in 2010. He sold the fixtures and assets for parts and then listed the remains. He sold it for $600 million, getting 4x back on his money. The new resort was going to be called the Drew and had partners like Marriott. With the shutdowns in 2020, construction stalled once again, and Marriott pulled out of the project. In 2021, the original developers saw the opportunity to reacquire the property. It took 23 years from ideation to go full circle. On December 13th, 2023, Fontainebleau Las Vegas finally opened. You'll notice this when we look at the property, but there's a lot of callbacks to the original Fontainebleau's Miami Beach roots. The Vegas version isn't a carbon copy, but you can definitely feel the influences. Welcome to a stated room with a strip view at the Fontainebleau. It is a pretty nice room and the vibe works out really well, but let's check out the view. So right in front of us is Resorts World. We have Wynn and Encore on the left-hand side, as well as the Sphere. Then down below, we have the pools. Pools are pretty sunny, so if you are someone that doesn't want to be in the sun for that long, might not be the best move, but yeah, looks pretty nice. Vegas Convention Center is right over there as well, so if you are here for convention, probably one of the best hotels for it. This is the room, and it's pretty sizable. One thing I really like is the art on the wall. So if you spin around, there's a lot of little pieces that just add to the room and make it more interesting rather than boring. There also is a sofa over here if you want to sunbathe. If it's a bit too bright for you, you can close the blinds and it kind of changes the whole mood. Pretty nice vibe. Air conditioner is right over here, and you can also turn it off and on and everything else over here. Lighting is very yellow, which is a nice touch. Spinning around over here, we have more lights and a bunch of drawers if you are here for a longer stay. So these are just wide open and empty. I feel like even if you were here for like 2 weeks, there's plenty of room. Ice bucket over here. It is pretty heavy, which makes it feel a lot fancier. Cups. Mini bar is right over here. It is weighted, so make sure not to play around with it, otherwise you're gonna get charged. Down here is the drinks mini bar, and pretty much exactly the same idea. Unless you need something right now, I'd recommend going to the convenience stores across the street. So there is a Walgreens, I think a CVS nearby as well. The bed wasn't too bad at all. I found it pretty comfortable, but Mandy wasn't a fan. I did feel like the pillows could have been a bit thicker though. I think I'm just more used to memory foam and more supported ones, so it feels a little floppy. The cord though is very nice, and I love the accenting light behind it and kind of the blue, gold, white tones to it all. Over here is a desk. We were doing a bunch of work here earlier in the morning and also last night. One thing we really liked was that there were a lot of plugs. So a lot of other hotels just don't really have that many plugs. Here you have a lot of choices, meaning you can charge everything up. Lighting also looks pretty nice here, and this one kind of reminds me of a little face, but maybe that's just me. Right behind is going to be some more art, and over here is a closet. You have slippers. Bathrobe is pretty nice, pretty hefty, but also very soft. Feels really nice. Kind of regret not using it. And it is pretty well branded. The safe is a vertical one, and it's right over here. Perfect for your shopping bag, Mandy. Heading to the hallway, we have a giant mirror. If you are with someone else, there's a conjoining room that you can connect to. And right over here is the bathroom. So it is pretty sizable. This is the toilet, pretty straightforward. No bidet, nothing really to speak of. I guess branding on toilet paper is nice. So a lot of other hotels won't even do this little touch. Wallpaper is pretty nice, and then also the touch control lights and fan is pretty convenient. You have 2 sinks over here, hair dryer from T3 that I didn't use, Mandy used, but she seemed to like. And giant mirror with accenting light and cool tones to it as well. Very much a blue, gold, and white theme. Behind over here is the shower. So there is not a door, it's just a glass one. Pretty good shower, so you can actually adjust how you want it to go. One of them is more misty and it's kind of a cool vibe, and the other one is more just standard shower. Very good water pressure, good heat, no complaints at all. It also drained really well too, so even though we used it, say like less than 8 hours ago, it's fully dry. Sometimes it doesn't do that, so that's a good thing. Shampoo and conditioners are white labeled. There also is a seat over here, which can be pretty convenient depending on if you want to relax or do some other stuff.
What?
So it can move and you can strategically use it. Secondary bathrobe over here. In case you're curious, our room's right over here, so it is on the smaller end, but it's still pretty good for what it is, and I think what you are getting is going to be that view, so that's the main point. Some of the other rooms on this side are going to be the same size, maybe a bit bigger, but then you don't have that view. Overall, pretty good room, and one I'd happily recommend. Like other Vegas hotels, prices are based on demand. This means that they jump up on weekends, so Friday and Saturdays, think $300 to $600 per night. Midweek, they slump back down to the $100 to $200 range. The exception are conferences, events, and big acts that can also drive demand on weekdays. For our stay, we booked through fine hotels and resorts where it was $168 and then $253 total with taxes and fees. With FHR, you get breakfast for $2 per day, $100 food and beverage credit per stay, and 4 p.m. late checkout. You also get room upgrades when available, so we got upgraded to a better view. Side note, if you want to learn about cards that get you access to FHR, we have links on the website asksebby.com and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, but otherwise, it's a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. If you don't want to add another card, I'd look into VIP booking portals like Cardonomics. Pricing is about the same as booking directly, but you get more perks. At the moment, you have the choice of Virtuoso or Select. With Virtuoso, you get $100 food and beverage credit per stay, $60 breakfast credit per day, and late checkout and upgrades if available. Run the numbers and shop around, but I think you might be surprised. If you want access to the portal, I'll link it down below with the current password. Another benefit of booking through these portals is potentially getting an invite to the Poodle Room. This is a members-only social club where full membership typically costs $20,000 per year. The other ways to visit are to get invited by a member, have a reservation at Edo, or stay in one of their $1,500 per night suites. You're not allowed to take pictures, but it offers one of the best views of Vegas. If you end up getting an invite like we did with FHR, it's well worth making a reservation to stop in. There also is food in a bar, but all of it is paid. Expect about $30 per drink. Speaking of food, let's do a property tour and look at some of the options. Starting from the top, when you arrive at the Fontainebleau, you're met with this massive sculptural canopy. Walking through the glass doors and you're in this grand high-ceiling lobby with a giant chandelier shaped like a bow tie. It's not a dome, but it kind of felt like one with 40-foot ceilings, tons of marble, and clean lines everywhere. In the center is a floral display with vibrant flowers. Apparently this changes per season, so that's a nice touch. If you are booking through FHR or Virtuoso or have elite status, then you can line up in the invited guest line on the right. Otherwise, the main check-in is on the left. Ride chairs are on the left from the entrance, and then the right side leads to the rest of the resort. Walking over, one of the first things you might miss is the door to the Poodle Room on the left. Walking through, you'll notice a ton of artwork, a lot of it being very vibrant and reminding me of Miami. The main areas are primarily broken down across 2 floors. On the bottom, you have luxury retailers like Graf and also the casino. There are some key restaurants down here, for example Chez BonBon for coffee and pastries, Vida for breakfast and lunch, as well as Blue Bar in the middle. Washing Potato and China Club are also down here. Upstairs you have more retail shops. There are some cheaper ones, but I would say that it leans expensive. There's also the main food court here with a ton of restaurants, so whether you're into pizza or Mexican or grill, there's a ton of picks. The most famous restaurants are going to be Komodo for Pan-Asian and sushi, as well as Poppy Steak that's known for its $1,000 beef briefcase. If you're looking to party, there's an escalator up 1 level to Live nightclub. Prices vary depending on the DJ, and you might want to reach out to a promoter if you want to get in for less. If you're into day clubbing, Live Beach is also an option, and we had a view of the space from our room. One of the big benefits of the property is that it's connected to the convention center, making it super easy to get there if that's what you're here for. You can also see the pool area from some of the rooms. The pool deck here is massive, 6 acres total, but it's surprisingly easy to navigate. You've got 7 pools, a bunch of cabanas, and a good mix of energy depending on what you're looking for. There's also a casino out here as well if that's your jam. Stepping into the gym, it's instantly clear this isn't your typical hotel fitness room, it's full scale and intentionally designed. You've got 14,000 square feet of workout space, packed with everything from cardio gear to strength zones and functional training areas.
Floor-to-ceiling windows line one side, so while you're pushing through a treadmill zone or lifting, you get strip views that actually make it feel less like a workout and more like a vibe. The equipment isn't just basic hotel treadmills either. There are functional trainers, a real free weight zone, and even a sled track. If you're not sure what to do, they've got complimentary group fitness classes for hotel guests. If you want to work out while you're in Vegas, this is probably the best gym setup I've seen on the Strip in terms of size, amenities, and just minimal crowding.
Alrighty, we're at Washington Potato for dinner. This is their Cantonese restaurant, and I've heard great things about the Chinese food, so super excited to try this out. I'm also Cantonese and have eaten this for 30 years, so I think I am a pretty good judge. Maybe a bit harsh, but we'll see. We ended up ordering a bunch of the most popular items and signatures within Cantonese cuisine. First up is the barbecue pork bun. Interestingly, they were all 3 different sizes, and it's the first time I've seen that. Normally, it's very consistent. Doing the tear test, you have a pretty hard top, which is a good thing. Let's give it a taste. The barbecue pork's not bad. It pretty much reminds you of any other bakery that I would go to. So like, meat's at bar. The pastry itself though, so the breading is not great. Feels a little day old. Maybe that's not fair. Yeah, not the greatest. The top's okay. If you have Team Hawaiian, it's kind of the gold standard as 8 or 9. This is like a 6. It's passable, especially if you haven't had it before, but there's way better iterations. Yeah, I think I'm most disappointed with the bun itself. Next up is Hong Kong crispy seafood noodles. With this one, they have noodles that they deep fry, that way it's crispy, and then they pour on a sauce with seafood on top afterwards, so some of it ends up absorbing the sauce, and you have this mixture of soft and gooey and also crispy. So here are some of the more gooey noodles. Decent amount of seafood as well. Let's give it a taste. Pretty good, you can taste a lot of other flavors there. Yeah, not bad at all. Some of the seafood, so shrimp, scallop. This one's not bad at all, solid 7, maybe 7.5. Last up and what became is the Peking duck. It's going to be the half duck with the skin on top, and then a meat below. You have the flat pancake style wrap, and then the basic items. So kind of the traditional version. Think of it like a burrito. First up, you grab the wrap, grab some duck skin, grab some veggies, and then the sauce. One thing we noticed though that usually comes with these dishes is a spoon for the sauce. Wrapping it up, let's give it a taste. One big advantage is the separation, so they pretty much fully separate the skin from the fat. The flavors aren't bad, but I feel like there's something a bit off. Yeah, I feel like it's just been sitting there for a while or something. Like, imagine a duck that's been racked up for a while, and it's fine, but I've had better. Like, the skin is not as crispy as you would think it would be. The meat though is surprisingly good, so it's a very lean duck, not a lot of fat. A lot of other ducks will have parts where you don't really want to eat it. This one looks really good. Very well seasoned meat and tasty. One other thing I noticed, and I might be super nitpicking, is that there are still kind of like feather residue that they normally would fully pluck for like I think all the other ducks we've had. Not the biggest deal, but yeah, just little small things. Still really good, and that's fine. But yeah, just interesting little tidbit. Duck I'd probably give a 7. Like, it's passable. The meat's pretty good, but a lot to be left desired for the skin. Also, maybe a weird thought, but I feel like these weren't freshly steamed. It doesn't feel like they're freshly steamed because they're a bit rougher than I've ever had them. I could also be crazy though, but yeah, I've had this a lot growing up. I don't think I've had it this rough. Or maybe they just have a different vendor that I'm not used to. Solid 7, and if it was a bit fresher, probably an 8. Eating a bit more of the meal, I think the main issue is consistency. So even with the pork one, my first one was a lot better than the second one. And then with the duck, there's different parts where some of it is a little fattier than I would like. Some of it's perfectly done where they remove the skin perfectly, and there's clear separation between the meat and the skin. And other ones, the skin or like different pieces actually stick together, which is interesting. So for example, this one where it's kind of stuck together, just little small things that could be improved. It's not bad, but unless you don't want to go anywhere and you'd want to stay on property, whether that's for convenience or because of a credit you have, I'd probably go somewhere else for Cantonese food. If you don't mind taking Uber, Tim Ho Wan as well as Mott 32 are probably better bets. Mott for the duck and then Tim Ho Wan for the other like morning dim sum items. I might be pretty expensive too though, so your mileage may vary there. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough to recommend this unless you don't have a choice. It's not bad, but it's just okay. All right, it is 1:20 a.m. Getting a quick bite in before bed, which we probably shouldn't do, but hungry, so why not? It's also Vegas. Ended up going to Chez BonBon and got a bacon cheese croissant. It is heated. I mean, that's pretty good. That's not bad at all. Pretty good. So there's egg, croissant, and then also bacon and cheese. Really good croissant. Even though I thought it'd be end of day, I don't think it is. I definitely recommend getting this if you're hungry and you want something to fill up. Good morning and technically afternoon since it's 12:24 right now. We're at Vida for breakfast/lunch. The restaurant's open from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m., so either work. If you do have a dining credit, I think this is one of the better restaurants, given the vibes. It's pretty immaculate. Take a look. It's pretty cool decor and ambiance. Note that the breakfast credit cannot be used at every single restaurant on property. There are specific ones, but this is one of them. If you don't want a sit-down option, if you want something faster, then I would go across the way, and there's kind of a bakery option, which has pretty good pastries and also coffee. Okay, food's here, and let's start with Mandy's. It's gonna be shrimp with pesto pasta. Really good flavors. I think I wish the pasta was cooked a tad bit more, like 30 more seconds, but flavors are amazing. Cheesy, spicy, a bit of citrus as well. It's a good dish. It also comes with 2 giant shrimps. Super meaty and very well seasoned. Maybe a tad bit overcooked. I would say like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, but it's delicious. It's really good. Solid 8 out of 10 and would recommend and get again. Next up is a smash burger of fries. The fries are super crispy. Not my favorite type because it is a bit denser, but it works. Very well seasoned as well. This is the smash burger. That's a good burger. Wow. I tend to order burgers a lot. Super tasty, great flavors, a lot of meat. I was a bit worried it'd be a bit thinner. Yeah, really good. Solid 8, maybe 8.5 if you like these type of fries. Mandy, I got croissants. Oh no, I squished my Wookiee. Just kidding. So one of their most famous items is going to be a flat croissant. It's pretty flat, as you can tell. One question I'm kind of curious about is whether it's going to be very dense, because that's what you'd expect. And on top is going to be pistachio and also green chocolate. White chocolate with maybe a hint of pistachio or just like green colored white chocolate. Pretty good. Wow. It's not dense at all, and it kind of reminds me of one of those butterfly cookies that has a lot of layers to it. Pretty tasty. I think I'd recommend getting it. Pricing is a bit aggressive at like 12 bucks, but it's good. It actually feels weirdly worth it. Also kind of surprised by the structural integrity of it too, that I'm holding on this end and it's not snapping, but I feel like it might snap if I moved it too much. Definitely more of a dessert croissant though. Next up is their famous chocolate one. So you see some ribbons on top across. It's okay. There's nothing to write home about for this one, so I'd probably skip it, given the price tag, and stick with the flat one. It's not bad by any means, but just not interesting. Well, it is nice and airy, but yeah, not too buttery or chocolatey, just very normal. Okay, now that we've done the review, I'm gonna test the structural integrity of this. I'm gonna hold it over here, and then I'm gonna do 2 shakes. I mean, that's still pretty good. Like if you're just holding it normally, it wouldn't break. If you're shaking it, then it's gonna break. Yeah, very much like one of those cookies, and I'd say that there's about like 15 layers from the look of it. One more unnecessary test.
One of the disadvantages of the Fontainebleau is the location. You're pretty far north and the nearest other hotel is Resorts World. That's about a 5 to 10 minute walk. Fontainebleau doesn't have a poker room at the moment, so if you want to play, then that's your best bet. The next one over would be Wynn, which is about a 10 to 15 minute walk. At night, it can get a little shady, so use your best judgment. Okay, so why did we visit Vegas? Mandy ended up getting tickets for retail price for the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere. The show's called Into the Millennium and it's built around their old album, so you get all the hits. The Sphere itself is the real draw. 16K wraparound visuals, spatial audio, and the entire place just feels engineered for sensory overload. At one point it looked like we were flying through the sky, then inside a giant clock, then space. Production was way higher than I expected. Floating platforms, animated visuals, synced to the beat, all of it designed and extremely polished. Even if you're not a huge fan, it's still a solid Sphere show. The nostalgia hits, the venue carries, and the whole thing just works. If your goal is to watch a show or movie at the Sphere, I'd recommend staying at the Venetian or Wynn since it's a lot closer. That's about a 5 to 10 minute walk and there's indoor paths. For us, we walked all the way back afterwards just to get some steps in, and it was about 35 minutes to Fontainebleau, so not the most convenient for that purpose. Overall, I think Fontainebleau is a solid addition to the Strip, especially if you want something that feels a bit more modern and design forward without giving up on amenities. The layout is intuitive, the finishes are high-end, and the gym and pool deck are probably the best I've seen in Vegas from a usability standpoint. That said, location is still a bit of a drawback. You're pretty far north, so unless you're here for a convention or just planning to stay on property, it might not be the most convenient pick. If you happen to get invited to the Poodle Room, definitely stop in. Great views, solid drinks, even if it's pricey. If you're booking, I'd recommend going through FHR or one of the VIP portals so you get the additional perks. Just make sure to run the numbers since pricing can fluctuate. Check out AskSebby.com if you want to learn about cards to get access to FHR, and Cardonomics down below if you want to book through Virtuoso. If you made it to this point, leave a sun with face emoji for the Sphere in the comments down below, and I'll try to heart it and respond. 3 questions. What are your thoughts on Fontainebleau and would you stay here? Where do you typically stay on the Strip? Also, what's your favorite restaurant in Vegas? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favor, give this a thumbs up, share this, but otherwise hope you liked it. See you on the road.